longtime Bay Area basketball rivals. One is an experienced team with a solid inside presence and a dangerous long-range threat they hope would make them contenders for the WCC title, while the other is a young squad devoid of seniors and still learning how to close out games in this highly competitive conference. Both Santa Clara and USF need a win tonight to kickstart a change of fortune. They meet on the hilltop in San Francisco next. What a beautiful night it is here in the city of San Francisco. Chamber of Commerce would love an evening like this, but the place to be is not outside, it's inside. Here at Memorial Gym on the USF campus, where an old rivalry gets renewed. The Santa Clara Broncos come calling on the hometown USF Dons. And hello again, everybody. I'm Barry Tompkins, once more with my old partner, Dan Belwamini. And Dan, really what we have here is two teams in a desperate search to right the ship.
I don't think there's any question about it. I mean, you look at USF, Barry, 0-4 in the conference. Don't forget, though, a year ago they started 0-4 and won 8 conference games, and Santa Clara has 1 win in the conference, and that's against USF. So both of these teams desperately need to right the ship tonight.
All right, Rex Walter looking for somebody to stand up, and what he's hoping is tonight he sees the beginning of the end.
And the end has done reasonably well in recent games. And you look at Parker against St. Mary's, and I thought this was critical that he stepped up and played well, and he certainly did. Look at this shot he makes at the end of the game. A little too late, but still, D.N. Parker, dangerous, a guy that can run the floor. He can break the defense down, and the Dons need him desperately to score.
Yeah, they got to have somebody step up. The guy that has been stepping up all year long, not just this year, but in years past as well, is Kevin Foster for Santa Clara. The guy can shoot, there's no question about it. He's now the all-time leading three-point shooter in the West Coast Conference, but he can also break your heart.
Well, he sure can. I mean, Kevin Foster can be on and, of course, off when you start missing those long threes, but mostly he's been productive. And Kevin Foster, as you said, Barry, has made more threes than anyone who has ever played in this conference. There's been some great players in this league. So Foster, dangerous, and certainly can put up 30 in a heartbeat. And Kerry Keating hoping he can do it tonight.
So that's going to be the job for Santa Clara. Get Kevin Foster righted, and each team needs to have somebody step up, but also needs to have a lot of help from that somebody's friends. Coming up, Santa Clara and San Francisco. Surprise. Excellent, excellent.
Number 32, Dixon.
We welcome you back to the Bay Area. We are in San Francisco. Those cars are really speeding across that bridge. That's all I can say, Danny. They must be late to the game.
Must be. Getting here in a hurry.
Santa Clara and USF teeing up here on the hilltop gives us an opportunity to take a look at the starting lineups before we tip it off. And the lineups for Santa Clara, first of all, Evan Rockamore, the point guard with Kevin Foster, Raymond Cowles, who had a very good game last week against BYU, Mark Trasolini, and Robert Garrett, the big man. For the USF Dons, it'll be Cody Doolin, a guy who in a league full of outstanding guards doesn't get nearly the credit he deserves. Chris Adams coming on as a shooter. Freshman Tim Dirksen, Cole Dickerson, he rebounds, one of the leaders in America, and Tao Zhu at the center position. USF coached by Rex Walters, and Rex just trying to find the right combination. You can see his record since he's been here at USF. This is 5th year, just under a 50% win-loss mark. And for the Santa Clara Broncos, they are coached ably by Kerry Keating. And Kerry, of course, worked at the knee of a lot of great coaches, worked for Ben Howland, worked for Chris Peterson, worked for Bill Self. Now in his 5th year as the Broncos head coach, a really tough year last year, just a boatload of injuries, crippled any chance that he might have had to have a winning season, but bounce back year for him this year.
Yeah, he really has bounced back, and you know, he's really hoping his guys to start maturing and start playing well together. He really needs top-notch performances out of his stars, and Trasolini's one of them. You take a look at Mark Trasolini, he's got to come up big along with Rockamore and Foster. That's the big three. Cowles, though, is a guy that can also be that 4 scorer, and he's really effective. But Trasolini has to give them inside scoring. This should be a great matchup for Trasolini tonight.
Yeah, I think so, too. And for USF, we talked a little bit about Cody Doolin. I mean, he is a guy who started out as a freshman, as a guy who just wanted the ball, and you got to like guys who want the ball at crunch time.
Well, he started his first game he ever played at USF. He started every one since, and I think Cody Doolin's gotten better and better, and definitely now not only a point guard that can distribute, Barry, but he can score, and he can take it to the rack, and he can make plays. So I think he's having an outstanding year, and your point's well taken. Just a boatload of good guards in this conference, and we're seeing some fine ones here tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. Here's one of them right here, the point guard for Santa Clara, Rockamore. He gives it up for Foster. Foster misses his first shot of the day, and the loose ball goes off from Santa Clara. It'll be USF ball. This is where they want the ball, in the hands of Cody Doolin. Very good at taking the ball to the basket.
And both teams, Barry, they're man-to-man teams. And St. Mary's going to try to exert a little bit of pressure. I mean, they may look to double up Cody Doolin, force someone else to get involved.
It's going to be interesting to see how Kerry Keating plays this. Doolin up top, guarded with a bigger Trasolini, got behind a screen and scores.
Well, if you're going to set a screen for Cody Doolin and you're defending, somebody's going to have to come out and guard him. And that time had a wide open Jay. It was well executed. Good job by San Francisco.
Great matchup with the point guards here, Rockamore and Doolin. Doolin runs over to help on Foster. Just like Foster behind a Trasolini screen, had a good look. Tied at 2.
You kind of get the impression, I know it's early, that Foster can shoot at any time and anywhere and any place.
And they all got a chance.
And they all got a chance.
Good defense by Rockamore, drops it down to Zhu. Zhu on the post, puts it up, and he'll go to the free throw line. Got the foul on Garrett.
Robert Garrett, first personal, first team foul of the half on the Broncos. Tao Zhu at the line for the Dons.
So Zhu will go to the free throw line for USF. Just about a 67% free throw shooter. Not bad for a big guy. And Zhu very much a work in progress, but I know Rex Walter thinks before it's all done, he's going to be a player.
Yeah, he really does. And you see that's kind of modest in terms of scoring, 3.6 a game. But, you know, Tao's a hard worker. You know, only a freshman, just kind of getting used to the college game. And I think before it's all said and done, he'd be a very good player here. It's interesting, too, he rides his bicycle around the city. I don't think you can miss Tao Zhu when he's on the bike.
A big bike.
Yeah, it's got to be a real big one.
Rockamore missed the runner, and the rebound down to Zhu. He's doing it again behind the Zhu screen. They got a switch. And he dropped it, tried to drop it down for Zhu was the right thing to do, but a good job defensively by Trasolini to step in front. In the corner, wide open, was Cowles. He misses. And the rebound to Dickerson. Dickerson, and it was Dirksen lost the handle for a minute, but it comes right back into the hands of Chris Adams. Dickerson underneath, back for Adams. Adams, good shooter. Now Dirksen. Dickerson, face up. And the rebound, Traslini.
It's one of the areas of concern for the Dons. Rarely do they get second opportunities on misses.
Rockemore comes up short again with a runner. Traslini gives him a second chance. Cowles for three.
Oh, you got it. You know, they actually have 4 guys out there, very good scorers.
They do.
I mean, you kind of forget about Cowles. And as you said, he had a big game in the Santa Clara loss against Brigham Young. But Cowles very capable, good stroke on the perimeter, and he's an active guy. Well, with a back door.
Sure was. And a great pass by Zhu. The finish by Doolin.
That a magnificent pass by Tao Zhu. Of course, you know, Cody Doolin, we always say it, but it's true. Good things happen when you play without the ball.
Absolutely. Good screen by Traslini. Lost Doolin for just a moment. But Cowles again comes off the screen. He's got another one. That's another 3. 8-5 ball game. Here's Doolin again. Doolin comes behind a Dickerson screen this time. Has Traslini on him. Here's Zhu, looks back door. Now with the left hand off the window.
Well, wait a minute. I've seen the Dons play a lot. I haven't seen that move. I mean, Tao got a little left-handed leaner off the glass. That was a big-time move right there.
Rockemore kick out to Cowles. Now Rockemore. And Rockemore pulls the trigger from 3, and he's got it. Well, you talked about Santa Clara shooting.
Wow. Boy, they came off the bus shooting a 3 in this one. I mean, they are really playing well. They've got how many threes? They've got 4 threes already. Or the 3 or 4 for 3. Maybe that's what we got. Okay, got it right.
Adams picks it up. He misses a 3. Loose ball. Traslini gets it. Traslini's one of those guys that you don't see him the whole game, and he winds up with 15 points and 13 rebounds.
Well, and they missed Mark Traslini last year. Don't forget, had the torn ACL, missed the whole year. And, you know, he's a threat. I mean, he can score outside and inside, a rebounder. Really the glue to the Santa Clara team.
Came up a little bit short. They're going to say Dirksen's on the sideline.
Well, we need a timeout, Barry.
We'll take a
It's been
timeout.
hot and heavy here.
15-18 it has been. Broncos shooting lights out. They lead it by 4. It's an 11-7 ball game with 15-18 remaining to be played. They're getting it from everybody. Cowles started out great on Saturday. It starts out great here tonight.
Attention to Section C, Row C, seats 13 and 14, opposite the scorer's table, as we honor Rick and Therese Corrado as tonight's season ticket holders of the game. Rick is an alumnus of the class of 1953 and the law school class of 1958, and both he and Therese have been unbelievably supportive of the Dons for the last 50 years. As a thank you for their loyal support and dedication to USF, Rick and Therese will receive 4 tickets to the upcoming St. Mary's game on January 30th at 7 p.m. Thank you, Rick and Therese Corrado. And fans, a reminder of the date change of that St. Mary's game. It might say Thursday the 31st on your ticket, but the game is Wednesday night, January 30th at 7 p.m.
Well, it's 15-18 to go in the first half. Santa Clara got off to a great start, 11-7, but watch San Francisco. Let's just stop it right here. Here's Cody Doolin. I want you to watch what he does, and we're going to run it forward just hold this. Here's the back door. Okay, let's stop it here. Tao Zhu with the ball. Where's Rockemore looking? He's looking that way and doesn't have vision on Doolin, and he goes back door and watch the pass from Tao Zhu. So all of a sudden, Rockamore lost a little vision. He was looking the wrong way, and Tao Zhu, by the way, who's had really a nice first 3 or 4 minutes, gets a rest right now, but he made a brilliant pass, a good play in the lane. So he got off to a good start, but that was well done.
That was a heck of a pass. Matt Christensen with the ball game now for the Dons, and that is up and good by Atanga. Atanga, another young player, who's going to make some noise in this conference before it's all done.
Santa Clara's going to, they can throw a few people at you. They're going to play 10, 11 players. And Yannick Atanga is another one, good inside and very active guy. Look at him defend.
Great job. Broncos. Sure was. And the reach in that time by Brandon Clark. Possession arrow belongs to the Dons. Now Dickerson will leave. Santa Clara's done a nice job on Dickerson.
Yeah, yes, they have. And here they're just going to double him up, and it's Atanga again. And they're going to call a possession, and out of bounds it will go possession arrow to San Francisco.
Drive to the basket that time, and a foul called. Parker taking it hard to the basket. Going to get the foul on Atanga, and he is a little bit foul prone.
Well, here's the hot start by the Broncos, and Raymond Cowles III has really been the trigger guy. He's made a couple of them. And then Evan Rockamore, who can pop it also. So the Broncos, we said at the top of the show, they live by the three. I mean, they can come out and put some huge numbers on you, and they've gotten off to a great start here.
I mean, they had 12 victories, and they went back to Duke, and they played great at Duke. We're really in the ball game for 2/3 of the game before Duke finally won by 13. But since that time, it's been a little bit rough. They came back here. They did beat USF down at Santa Clara, but have lost the last 3. Once again, Cowles. Not this time, but Atanga right there, rejected by Christensen.
Where did Christensen come from?
And Dirksen all the way to the basket, missed the shot. Great job by Atanga to get down and grab that rebound. Foster leaving for Cowles. Now Foster, long 3 with a man in his face, and the rebound to MacArthur gives him a second chance. This time Foster all the way to the basket, too hard, but a foul.
Well, Barry, this is another player for USF that's been really effective. I mean, he's played more minutes of late, and Christensen just comes from the block, from the weak side. And he's been he's an energizer type guy, and he comes in, he's a good rebounder, got pretty good hands, and he's making a case for himself. Because I thought against the St. Mary's he played very well, and starting to get more playing time.
Yeah, he's been averaging less than 10 minutes a game, but you have an idea those numbers are going to go up. Cody Doolin comes back into the USF lineup after a brief blow. Tim Dirksen will leave. Rockmore comes back for Santa Clara.
And of course, Matt Christensen, he's only a freshman out of Oklahoma City. Played at Bishop McGinnis High School, a very, very good high school team. And I don't think, I kind of thought they were, he may be a year or 2 away, but he's starting to show that, he's earning some minutes in there. I'd like to see him, see if they can find him inside and see if he can make a play.
There's a screen this time for Tollefson. Now back to Adams. This is Parker.
He got a mismatch inside.
Parker pulls up. Scores.
Oh, he had a mismatch outside also.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, I mean, Parker being guarded by Trasolini.
Well, you look at USF, and especially the team that's on the floor right now, it's a very young basketball team. And that can be set up and down this West Coast Conference. Santa Clara is the experienced team in the conference.
Yeah, I know you saw San Diego last night. And again, recipe for success, great guards.
Great guards. That's a team that I think is going to make some noise before it's all done. They're doing very well right now. They won 5 games in a row. They lead the conference. But as their coach, Billy Greer, said, the meat of their schedule is upcoming, and it's not easy. There's Christensen face up on Atanga, little spin move, put it up to the right hand, score.
I'll tell you what, he is surprising every time I watch him play it. This guy's coming into his own. Now, that was a very solid move by Christensen. I mean, and what I really love about it is good footwork.
Rockamore off a nice pass from Foster. Couldn't finish, and rebound run down by Adams. Rex Walters right now has a combination of players he likes out there, obviously, because he's staying with these guys. It's Doolin, Parker, Adams, Christensen, and Tollefson. That's Parker from the corner, in and out. Trasolini with his 5th rebound already. Nice pass by Trasolini, but
I think Parker came from the really had no other choice. I think that's a second foul on DN Parker. How about Christensen at the other end? Terrific footwork. Nice little spin, get the man in the air, jump hook, which I think is essential when you're a little bit of an undersized post. To use that jump hook either way.
Good feet. Atanga will go to the free throw line. Atanga, another young player, just a sophomore from Yaoundé in the Cameroons. That went to high school down in Ojai. Now Zhu will come back. He'll bring Dickerson with him.
And Atanga, one of the few Broncos that's not too proficient at the foul line. You know, most of the Santa Clara, you know, they're one of the better free throw shooting teams around. But Atanga has his problems. He speaks, what, 3 or 4 languages. French is the common language in the Cameroon. Speaks a couple of different dialects of African. How about that block?
Got a little piece of it,
and he knows how to block.
Runs the floor really well, too. He gets up and down. Again, he's another guy that falls into that category of work in progress. They double Foster there. Rockamore to the basket, tries to jam it, wouldn't go. Atanga misses the follow, gets it back, and it is out of bounds on the line. So USF will have it when we come back. 11:39 remaining to be played in the first half. It's a 2-point ball game. Up and down game and an exciting game so far. Watch Atanga on the defensive end getting a piece of Cody Doolin's shot. We're coming back.
Supporter of USF basketball and former organizer of booster trips to USF away games. Lee passed away last year, and USF is very grateful for his enthusiasm and generous financial support to USF athletics. Lee and his wife Helen.
We welcome you back. Hey, a reminder the USF Dons coming back here to the Hilltop on Saturday afternoon. They'll host Loyola Marymount. We get underway at 1:30. For tickets, visit usfdons.com or call 415-422-2873. Two very similar teams, I think, LMU and USF.
And LMU has one of the great guards in the conference, too, in Anthony Ireland. And there you look at the West Coast Conference scoring leader.
And there's Anthony Ireland, number 2.
Yeah, and I know you saw Tyler Hawes at BYU.
Like him a lot.
Like 6'4", 6'5", and a terrific shooter. And, of course, Foster. How about the year Kelly Olynyk is having? I mean, he is really coming on. And against Brandon Davies and other BYU. How about Dellavedova? What's he done lately? And Mark Thompson. Has Dellavedova done anything lately? I can't think. Did St. Mary's win up at BYU?
I believe
did Dellavedova do anything?
In rather dramatic fashion. Yeah. We're going to get a chance to see it a little bit later, too. What a game that was. Incidentally, I had some people tell me that Olynyk now, after nobody really gave him any thought so far as moving on to the next level before this season started, is quickly moving up draft charts.
Well, why not? He's with 7 feet, and he's a perimeter player, but he can also score inside. You take a look at that field goal percentage, and Santa Clara, you know, more shots, more rebounds, and the Dons have made a few turnovers and sitting at 5 out of 10.
Well, this game, it's right there for the taking. 14-12, 2-point game, 11:35 remaining here in the first half. Adams drop it down to Dickerson on the baseline, comes off the baseline. I'm going to get a reach-in foul. It's going to go against Garrett. That'll be his second.
I just think it's vital that San Francisco gets Cole Dickerson involved. Dickerson is the leading rebounder in the conference, but more than that, he's a scorer and he's an inside threat. He's a legitimate guy that gives you that back to the basket presence, and he has to get going.
Santa Clara did a great job on him. We saw him double right there. Adams, quick release, couldn't get it to go. And the rebound down into the hands of Cowles. Now to Foster. Rockamore, drop it down for Nye Harrison. Harrison in the game for the first time. And Harrison puts it off the window and in. Nice touch.
Yeah, nice move by Nye Harrison. Does a good job to kind of get the defense in the air.
A foul on Foster underneath there. Watch Harrison at the other end.
Yeah, Harrison's active. You know, they bring a Tanga in and Harrison, and he certainly knows where the hoop is. And every time he gets in there, he'll make a positive, strong move. And let's hope Rockamore didn't hurt himself. He went down hard at the other end.
He's slow to get up. So Cody Doolin at the free throw line. Needless to say, good free throw shooter.
Good free throw shooter and always wants the ball in his hands. And Rex Walters has a hard time taking him out of the game. And well, he's really responded big time. Of course, you know, Cody's like a 4-point student, and he's the whole package.
He really
can tell you
is.
that. See the team rebounding leaders, and see Santa Clara right up on top there. And you see the Dons down below. Now the Broncos are big, strong, kind of like the old Santa Clara teams. You kind of, I mean, there's been some unbelievable Santa Clara USF games. Dating way back to Barry. I know you remember this game back at the Cow Palace in 1953.
I do, actually.
Which was the inaugural game, by the way, of the West Coast Athletic Conference, was USF Santa Clara. That USF won, by the way. I know you remember, 59-48.
It must be said, you and I were both children.
Cody Doolin, first personal, third team foul.
Well, this series we talked about how far back we go. 1908. Now we did not see any of those games.
No, we didn't do that game. I know that game was on the air, but we didn't do it.
That's right. Santa Clara leading 110-101, so it's been that close. Santa Clara won the last meeting between these two teams. That was the only win that they've had in their last 4 starts.
Well, it's funny, when this league started, of course, you're looking at 2 charter members of the West Coast Conference. The first game ever, it should be, was USF Santa Clara at the Cow Palace.
Foster, long tray with a man in his face.
Can't give him any space. Wow. Kevin Foster, he comes off that screen and effortless from distance. I mean, him shooting it behind the pro line isn't a real big deal.
No.
And the pro line's not out there. It'd be another couple of feet.
Santa Clara 4 of 9 beyond the arc. USF has not made a 3-point shot yet in this game. And going to get a grab foul on Adams. A little careless.
Personal foul, USF number 10, Chris Adams, his first.
So Rex Walter, as he's wont to do, pacing in front of his bench.
For the Dons, along with number 21, Deanne Parker.
One thing to always remember when you're facing Santa Clara, as a team, they're about a 37% three-point shooting team. How about that pass?
Yeah, great.
And see, that's why Trasolini is so valuable. Trasolini is a power inside finisher and can step away. Broncos really doing a beautiful job at the offensive end.
Yeah, they're on a roll right now. And again, both these teams, we have seen 20 players in this game already.
All right, now we're going to get the ball right inside here, and then Trasolini's going to go right to the basket. This man right here, I mean, you don't know which way to go because the Dons have too many people around the ball. So that was that Nee Harrison makes a nice pass inside.
Yep.
And all alone is Trasolini. So Nee Harrison finds him. Trasolini playing without the ball. San Francisco is doubling and tripling on the perimeter, but the Broncos, good movement and a nice job of playing without the ball by Mark Trasolini.
Broncos lead it by 7. 4 USF turnovers have led to 7 Santa Clara points. That's the difference in the game right now. 9:11 remaining here in the first half.
Interesting now, Barry, with Cody Doolin out of the game. Don's down 7. This is always a precarious position for San Francisco when you got Doolin out because you really don't have a ball handler who's going to set the offense.
You rest your case, don't you? Dirksen lost the handle. Lockamore leaves for Foster. And now Powell's to the basket with the right hand, comes up a little bit short, passes the rebound. Drew and Atanga, and they're going to say that there's a grab foul on Atanga.
Either Atanga or Harrison.
It was Harrison.
It may have been Harrison. Well, it might have been a little bit of contact there, and I think that's what Kerry Keating's talking about. And then obviously a little foul on the rebound. So now again, the last time the Dons couldn't even get a shot off, they turned it over.
And Holmes takes it to the basket, bangs it off the side of the backboard. It'll be out of bounds to USF.
There's a lot of pressure on Avery Holmes to now take the leadership position to run the backcourt with Cody Doolin out. So the question is, can USF be proficient? And so far, they haven't. They've turned it over a couple times.
And just avoided a 5-second count right there. Got the timeout called in the nick of time. 8:20 remaining here in the first half. 7-point lead for Santa Clara. Take a look at where we stand right now in the West Coast Conference. And it is getting to be a conference of the haves and the have-nots, but the haves, I'll tell you what, are very good, Dan.
Well, the haves are good, but I really believe there's a lot of good teams in this league. We saw USF at St. Mary's. They gave the Gales all they want. Now, how about last night?
This is Hawes.
This is Hawes. How do you like it? He knocks it in.
2.5.
But wait. Here comes Dellavedova with a little runner leaner. Yes, swish. Yes, sir. How about Delly from distance to get that one in? and that kind of quiets the white shirts in the back there. But
19,000.
Yeah, you bet. Yeah. So you look at San Diego at 4-0, Gonzaga, BYU, St. Mary's. You're right. I mean, the top of the league is very strong.
Very strong. Floater that time by Parker just won't go. And here come the Broncos.
Now St. Mary's won up at BYU last year, too. Yeah. In fact, they beat them a couple of times.
Somebody's got to tell me, though, Coach.
Sure.
How do you let the inbounds pass go all the way to midcourt?
Well, I think that's one issue. And the other one that you know, they did have BYU. They did have a couple of timeouts. Now, it's difficult to react that quickly. But after the Hawes shot, if you call timeout, at least you give your defense a little bit of a chance to set up and try to keep the ball out of Dellavedova's hands. But BYU's normal defense is to go back. They play a lot of zone. They went back, and of course you don't want to foul. But Dellavedova might be a guy you want to get to. Now, having said that, Barry, he made a really hard shot.
Oh, he did?
I mean, come on. He made it. I mean, it was a double clutcher from 40 feet.
Yeah, that's tough.
And so, you know, the Cougars just were not very lucky on that. But St. Mary's came from what? They were 20 down in the first half and came back to win it. You know, there's a guy out here by the name of Kevin Foster.
Yeah, he's doing all right.
He's made a few threes in his career. This is why he has made more threes than anybody that's ever played in this conference.
Anybody.
Remember Jeff Fryer at Loyola? He made a few threes.
That was the guy whose record he broke.
Oh, was it? Yeah, he made a few threes. Of course, they used to score about 130 when they played.
And that was in the first half. 24-14, Broncos lead it by 10. 6:54 remaining to be played.
The Bay Area Sports Hall of Fame is a non-profit organization founded in 1979. In addition to honoring the achievements of Bay Area athletic legends, the organization, through its events and patrons, provides funds to youth sports organizations in the Bay Area. Since its inception, the Bay Area Sports Hall of Fame has provided close to $4 million to over 600 youth organizations. Representing the organization tonight is President and CEO Kevin O'Brien, as well as Vice President of Finance and Administration Anthony Savicki. Thank you to Kevin, Anthony, and the Bay Area Sports Hall of Fame for their continued support of Bay Area sports and youth organizations. Kevin O'Brien and Anthony Savicki.
And the USF Pete Rozelle raffle is here. You can win an all-expense-paid trip to the big game in the Big Easy, the Final Four, and many more. For more information, visit usfdons.com/special events or call 415-422-2875. And there is Pete Rozelle, was once the sports information director here at the University of San Francisco. He was the SID on those great football teams, in particular the team in 1951. They made movies about that team, one of the great teams in history. Pete Rozelle, of course, going on to be the commissioner of the National Football League, the guy who started the Super Bowl, a USF graduate back in 1950. And privileged to have gotten to know him.
So he was with Pete Newell in the 49-50 team.
As a student.
As a student.
That's right. That's right. Then he graduated, got a job as an SID on the 1951 football team.
So let's see, if you start as an SID, you might be the commissioner of the NFL.
Right.
And that's exactly what happened.
We should talk to Jim Young, who now is the sports information director here at USF. The whole world is out there for him. Meantime, USF has not only not had a field goal, but not had a field goal try for the last 4 minutes and 45 seconds.
Coincidentally, Cody Doolin's been out for at least the last 3 minutes. And the Broncos have gone, they're on an 8-0 run.
Cody Doolin is going to come back into the ball game now, and he's going to bring Christensen with him. Dickerson also comes back. Dickerson's been very quiet in this game so far. Holmes stays on, so does Adams. Atanga back in the game now for Santa Clara. And that's Clark with a jumper, a little bit short. And we're going to get a whistle and a foul, and I think we're going to get a push.
Personal foul, USF number 10, Chris Adams.
It is on Adams.
Personal, team foul number 6 on behalf of the Dons.
Yeah, a little bit of a push.
Kind of a sort of a push.
Kind of a, yeah. It did look like when you saw it on replay, it wasn't as obvious as it was live.
This time they'll get Christensen. While Doolin was on the bench, Santa Clara on an 8-0 run. They lead it by 10.
And Barry, the Dons really have a small team on the floor right now. And if you remember, this is exactly what the Gales did when they faced a little smaller unit on the floor for San Francisco. They went right inside. They played power basketball. It looks like Kerry Keating's going to try to go right around the rim. Now, Trasolini going out may give the Dons a little bit of a lift, because I thought he was doing some damage. But MacArthur and
MacArthur at 6'9"
does a good job
him some
also.
size. Cowles converts. 12-point lead and a 10-0 run. Dickerson for three. No, still can't find one. Foster the rebound. Santa Clara push. Rockamore gets into the lane, looks for help, drops it down to Tanga. Tanga trying to go inside out. Instead of foul on the baseline, they're going to go the other way.
Either going to get a foul or a 3-second count. I'm not sure whether there was definite contact, but maybe they did get an elbow.
I think you're right there. I think it was a 3-second
Might have been a 3-second count, which you never see called anymore in college basketball. It's the first one I've seen this year.
Yeah.
See, I think that's where you're going to put the ball.
Dickerson over a Tanga, missed everything. Christensen the rebound. Kick out for Doolin. Rockamore right in his face. Now Doolin puts it on the floor. Kick it back this time. Dickerson for three. That's short. They can't find one right now. MacArthur runs down the long rebound.
Yeah, Dickerson's had a tough night so far.
USF just 31% from the field. Santa Clara not shooting much better, 38%, but they've been doing better beyond the arc. The Rockamore misses that one. USF has not yet made a three-point shot. Christensen off balance, got the roll. That breaks a long dry spell.
They've been on 14 for a long time.
About 7.5 minutes.
Yeah, in fact, it was 16-14 Santa Clara, now 26-16. A long way to go in this game. And one thing about it, you know that Santa Clara is going to, and they shoot it early in the clock if they get the opportunity. But I think what's worrisome right now to Rich Walter is the fact that MacArthur and the Broncos are getting easy shots inside.
That was a great pass that time by Rockamore. Dickerson still can't find one. Had a point-blank look that time. He's 0 for 6. .425 remaining, and USF really kind of dead in the water right now. Foster's spin move into the lane, lost it. Doolin gets it for the Dons. This is Adams way outside, and he's got Foster right on him. Now Doolin tried to take it to the basket, lost the handle. And here come the Broncos, 2-on-2. Rockamore in the middle, leaves it for Cowles. Cowles fires a three, got his feet set, got everything set, just didn't make it. And a whistle blows and a foul away from the ball. I think a Tanga might have taken a shot to the stomach. So we're going to take a timeout. It was the first foul on Holmes. 3:51 remaining to be played here in the first half. Nice little drop down pass by Rockamore and a finish by MacArthur. Santa Clara by 12. Well, the Santa Clara Broncos coming back home on Wednesday night. They'll face Cal State Bakersfield, non-conference game. For tickets, visit SantaClaraBroncos.com or call 408-554-4660. We've had guest mascot night here at War Memorial Gym, and there are creatures of all sorts on the floor while we were away. Betty wants a win.
Betty wants to win.
It's her 91st birthday.
And she's got her own show.
I want to be like her.
She's got her own TV show.
She's great.
They just gave her a new deal.
She is great. Santa Clara really making a living out of second chance points in this game.
Yeah, 9-0 second chance points for Santa Clara. The rebound on the ball. Well, it's been an issue with San Francisco throughout the year. I mean, as I said earlier, Barry, it's normally 1 and out for them. They rarely will get a second shot, second tip in. They have to really rely on great formations and good execution and opportunity jumpers that do go in. Now they got a mismatch right down here. If they can get the ball to Christensen, being guarded by a guy a little bit smaller, maybe look and post him up a little bit. Got to recognize that.
Well, they did get it to Dickerson, who's guarded by the smaller man, Rockamore, and Rockamore fouled him, and Dickerson on the free throw line. Dickerson has yet to score in this game.
Yeah, he's got to get off and maybe gets a little bit of confidence at the line. And he's missed some opportunity shots. And here's what Richard we're talking about. When a guy's being guarded by someone 3 or 4 inches smaller, that's something you have to pick up and immediately go to him. And not only that, but the player's got to call for the ball, which Dickerson did. But you look at his numbers, and it's really difficult for the Dons to win games unless Dickerson's going to give you double digits numbers in scoring.
Not to mention rebounding.
Not to mention rebounding, leading rebounder in the conference.
And number 8 in the country. So he gets them both. Cuts the lead to 10. There's Foster, good look. Goodbye. When he gets it going, he is really tough.
Well, the one thing you can't do is you absolutely cannot leave Foster. And that's what happened that time. Is San Francisco was doubling up all the time, and Foster's got 12 points in a game.
Christensen, a little jump hook. He's got 6 in the ball game. And we're going to get Christensen literally pushing a Tanga into the USF bench. I'm not quite sure what that was about.
Personal foul, USF number 3, Matt Christensen.
Yeah, the sequence when Foster made the jumper. Dirksen, I know his intention was to double up the ball, Barry, and maybe he can get a steal. But while he's doing that, he's leaving Foster all by himself.
Right.
And Foster's got it going tonight. I mean, there's no doubt about it. Some nights, maybe he doesn't shoot it quite as well as he can, and he's off. But he's not off tonight. You cannot leave him.
No, and to his credit, he's taking good shots. Every now and then he'll force a shot or two. Hadn't been doing that tonight. He's 3 or 4 beyond the arc, and they've all been good shots.
Well, Kerry Keating said, all right, what we have to do is get Foster, Trasolini, Rockamore, those 3, to really play well together in a game. And once we do that, we're going to be tough to beat. Now, Cowles has been pretty consistent. They get it scoring, and he gives them a pretty consistent performance. But when the big 3 are going, the Broncos are tough to handle.
And that time Dickerson just had it bounce off his hands. The 7th USF turnover. Neither team really shooting it particularly well. Santa Clara shooting 38%, USF just 32%. And USF has not yet made a 3-point shot. That's really the difference in the game. Foster, look out. That one halfway down came out, but a Tanga with an offensive rebound.
Yeah, see, the Broncos getting second effort for Don's on. That's really a big part of the game. Great steal by Julian. He got numbers, get it ahead.
Opportunity jam with the left hand, and won't go. Second try, Dirksen, and a Tanga, I think, got a hand on that. Trasolini clears.
Well, even when San Francisco gets great looks, they can't score. Boy, see, the Dons are just trapping every place.
Tanga came underneath, tried to reverse, and they're going to get an offensive foul. I think they might get Trasolini here, and they do. Here's Kevin Foster. Watch the stroke.
Yeah, and he's got a quick release, and he does not need a whole lot of room. And as you said, he's really in the groove tonight. He's flowing, but he's had a couple of wide open looks. And when a player like that, who's in rhythm, gets open looks, I mean, he may go for 35 before it's over.
Tanga will take a seat. They call that foul, incidentally, on Cowles. Nate Harrison back into the ball game. Now we're going to get a little discussion amongst the officials at the scorer's table. Game clock shows 1:59 remaining.
Now they're obviously going to look at that foul.
They call that on Cowles, and I didn't see it.
Oh, maybe they're trying to determine who the foul was on.
I think that may be right, because it definitely was not on
No,
Cowles.
it was not Cowles. So they may have, I think that's what they did.
So I think it was against Tanga. Kerry Keating giving Greg Nixon a little bit of, what are you kidding? What are you doing? Christensen gets the first free throw. Hadn't been there very much this year.
Well, that's his first free throw of the year. He's 0 for 1 before that. Now he's flying high. Now he's 66% from the line, 2 or 3.
Just like that.
Well, you know, quite frankly, he hadn't played a whole lot. He's starting to play more now.
Nice score.
He may be, I'm just guessing at this right now, Barry, but he may be their leading scorer in the first half.
He is. He's got 8 points.
Yeah, he got 8. I kind of thought he might be. Oh, you got a reading now. Be alert from behind. Good job by Trasolini. Just couldn't get it home.
And they call a jump ball call, and the possession arrow will belong to Santa Clara with 1:38 remaining.
If San Francisco does not steal the ball on that initial trap on the perimeter, and the Broncos make one solid pass, I mean, they should get a great shot because there's so many Dons extending. Look at all the traps. You got to be alert. There's like 2 guys on the ball. There's got to be people open if you can make the pass.
And they get it this time to Harrison. Harrison trying to leave in the corner for Cowles. Cowles back up top to Roquemore, and they'll reset the offense. And now we're going to get a timeout called by Kerry Keating.
I think Kerry Keating may be telling me, Harrison, you might have been under control and had a 3-footer in the lane. So all you have to do is make one solid, and it's difficult in this situation when they're trapping to run your offense. You may just have to spread the court out. Barry, what's some WCC news and notes?
Well, the San Diego Toreros are the hottest team in the conference right now. They've started 4-0 in conference play. They won 5 in a row. That's their best winning streak since 2009 when they won 22 games. St. Mary's beats BYU, and you saw that buzzer beater by Matthew Dellavedova after Hawes had what appeared to be the winner for BYU with 2.5 seconds left. Tyler Hawes was the player of the week. He's averaging 21 points for the season. He's a big-time player, Dan.
Yeah, he's a big-time player. And I know you feel he's even ahead of Jimmer Fredette, who was, put up some pretty good numbers.
I think he's more complete. Let's put it that way. I don't know that he's quite the shooter Fredette was, but he takes the basket, he puts a body on you. He's a good defender. He'll get a rebound. Trasolini too easy.
I think it was a brilliant timeout by Kerry Keating. He saw something he liked and said, wait a second, let's just go right back to Trasolini inside. And that was superbly executed by the Broncos. Great job.
Christensen again to reverse. This guy looking like an All-American.
He's going for 25 tonight.
He's got a career high of 10. Maybe a career high by about 8.
Well, you know what he can do? He's got excellent footwork, and he's got an array of shots inside that are very effective.
It's going to get him some more minutes. I'll be willing to bet that. Here's Roquemore, leaves it this time for Trasolini, and a little bit sloppy with the pass. Dickerson picks it up. 6th turnover for Santa Clara. Here comes Dula.
See if the Dons play for the last shot.
They'll back it out. They will do that. 15 left.
Always high screen and roll. See if they come up. They're going to try to screen for Doolin. Here they come. Try to run him off the screen and see if he can do something good.
Good job by Harrison to jump in front, and Doolin, as has been the story of this half, could not get it to go. Had a pretty good look, could get it to go. A very tough shooting first half for the USF Dons, and at the break, it's Santa Clara 35 and USF 24, and the Broncos doing everything right. The Dons not doing very much right, and thus an 11-point lead for Santa Clara at the intermission. Lots to talk about at halftime. We'll visit with the athletic director here at USF and talk about a lot more stuff, too, after the news break. Don't go away.
Okay, fans, we have a special basketball game coming up in just a moment involving all of your favorite Bay Area mascots. On Team 1 from the Oakland A's, Stomper. From the San Francisco Bulls, Rawhide. And from the Santa Cruz Warriors, Mavericks. On Team 2 from the San Jose Sharks, Sharky. From the San Jose Earthquakes, Q. And from Santa Clara University, Bucky. Since Don Francisco is a scoring machine, he will play offense for both teams. Don Francisco from USF. They will entertain us until the 6-minute mark on the clock.
This is my voice level right here, talking with Scott Sidwell, the athletic director here at the University of San Francisco. Scott?
Glad to be here, Barry.
With the follow in the lane, no good. Mavericks puts it in off the glass. Under 4 minutes remaining. Sharkey to inbound.
I can.
Meadowlark Lemon.
I'll lean out, yeah.
Where's the ball? Sharkey going for the hole. Puts it up. No good. Stomper one's traveling. Doesn't get the call. Here goes Q. Ball by Stomper. Q to the rack. No good. Mavericks. Pulls up for the three.
You see that 8 for 26 in the first half. We were 0 for 5 for 3. Yeah, you can't. And then the big one is a second chance.
Yeah.
They got 11 points. That's the difference in the game.
No, that's right.
You know.
Goes around them. From the left
Hey, we were down. Did you see that first one we played them? We were down 19. Cut it to 2.
Yeah, that's right.
Not much
Yeah.
defense on either side. We're under 3 minutes remaining.
I'll ask
Yeah,
you
buddy.
both about the basketball program and about the women's program, but I just
Yeah,
want to know the overall picture.
Yeah,
when we
gotcha.
get going.
Gotcha.
There goes Q again. He could be the fastest mascot on the court. Go Sharky. Go Q. Sharky will find you.
Little cable cars climbing halfway to the stars. I heard that someplace. They don't come up to the hilltop, however. 35-24 ball game at the half. Santa Clara leading the hometown USF Dons. And at the half, it's a pleasure to welcome the athletic director here at USF, talking about Scott Sidwell. And Scott, you've been on the job for 2 years now. Why don't you just kind of give me a state of the Dons, if you will? Where are things athletically?
You know what? We're really making a lot of progress. We're laying the foundation right now for great things to come. We feel good about our teams right now. We're looking to get some wins, obviously. And with that being said, we're poised to do that. And I think that the things that we're putting in place right now, with our San Francisco Dons Fund, we're looking at our facilities, trying to upgrade everything that we do. We've got a great tradition and history here at the University of San Francisco, and it's time for us to get that back.
Well, you talk about the great history, and of course, the West Coast Conference now is no joke. I mean, there was a time where there were 2 or 3 teams who every year in and year out, were the top of the league. It's not so anymore. It's a tough conference.
It really is, and that's a great credit to our conference office. Our conference commissioner, Jamie Janovich, has done a great job of elevating everybody's game. So night in and night out, it's great basketball, and if you look up and down the West Coast, you're going to see some great games here in the West Coast Conference.
It's a very young basketball team that you have here at USF, and once again, that's something that can be said up and down the West Coast Conference. But you have an idea there's a light at the end of the tunnel here.
Yeah, absolutely. Rex Walters has done a great job here in the 5 years that he's been here, and he's really positioned now that we're trying to find ways to take it to the next level. And for us to be able to do that, we're going to have to get out there and be aggressive in the community. We're going to have to engage our donors. We're going to have to get people, plated up to be able to support us in a way that we can take it to that next level. So that's what we're trying to do, and it's been a lot of fun. I'm honored to be the athletic director here. Like I said, I look up in the rafters and I see all the great names and jerseys and 3 national championships. All those things are things that attracted me to come here, and we're looking forward to trying to find ways with all of our teams to put them back on the national platform so that we can be successful.
It is a great place. Before I let you get away, I do want to ask you about the women's program. Jennifer Azzi, of course, a great player, an Olympian, a 3-time All-American at Stanford. She's the coach here now. Tough year last year, but you have an idea that ship is turning a little bit as well.
Yeah, absolutely. She's 8 and 9, and has shown a lot of good signs. She's got a little banged up, a couple of guards out, but what the future holds for all of us, and Jennifer's program, really all of our programs, is very bright, and we're excited about that.
Well, Scott, you got it all headed in the right direction. I really appreciate you spending some time
Barry.
with us.
Appreciate it.
That's Scott Sidwell. He's into his 3rd year now as the athletic director here at USF, and you know what? Things are looking up here on the hilltop. But his team right now trailing by 11 at the half.
From Santa Clara, Bucky, and our own Don Francisco from USF. three-time national champion San Francisco Dons.
We welcome you back to the Hilltop, where the visiting Santa Clara Broncos lead the hometown USF Dons by 11. It's a 35-24 ball game as we prepare to start the second half. I'm Barry Tompkins. That guy right there is the coach, Dan Belwamini. And Dan, I think when you have almost twice as many turnovers as you do assists, as USF has, that could be a little bit of a problem.
That's not good, Barry. That's not good at all.
Spoken like a coach.
Yeah, and certainly the Dons got to get it together and get it together in a hurry. I mean, you look at the first half highlights, and here's Cody Doolin, and that's how they started the game. Cody got a great shot, one of the very few open shots that USF was able to really get home. And here's Matt Christensen, leading scorer, came off the bench. Really gave San Francisco a huge lift, left-handed, right-handed. He had 10 points in the first half. He was really sensational. And for Santa Clara, I say it as advertised. And, you know, certainly Kevin Foster did a great job. I mean, he was making threes all over the floor. And the Broncos were really proficient from the outside. And Raymond Cowles III also contributed. But Santa Clara shot the threes exceptionally well. And of course, the Dons haven't made a three.
No, that's exactly right. I think Santa Clara took advantage of what was given. They lead it by 11. We'll come back with more on the other side of this. We welcome you back. Look at the numbers at the end of the first half, and they're grim on the USF side.
Well, they're grim, and I think if you're Rex Walters, you look at the numbers, you're saying we may be down by 25 at halftime. I mean, they're out-rebounded. They were completely outshot. Their starters, Barry, only scored 11 points. So you get 11 points from your starters in the first half. And if it wasn't for Matt Christensen, who really gave the Dons really a big lift coming off the bench, it really might have been to the point where the Dons couldn't come back. I mean, they're 11 down. You could still make a run. You think you're going to get going a little bit and start making some threes. And certainly they need Dickerson, you know, to get going. But you look at the leading scorers, and there's Cowles and Foster and Trasolini, but Christensen off the bench. Who would have figured Christensen would have 10 points?
And Rex Walters dancing with that brother.
Well, why
He's going
not?
to start Christensen.
Why not?
Absolutely. Trasolini incidentally only 4 points, but he's got 9 rebounds.
Yeah, Trasolini's solid, and he takes great shots. High percentage shooter.
Here's Christensen, worked off by Garrett, up top now, and Holmes can't get it to go, and a rebound to Trasolini. It's 10 rebounds for Trasolini. Dons continue to trap. That's Cowles for 3.
Mid-point basket, number 42, Raymond Cowles III.
Doolin got in the lane. There was nobody to throw it to. A turnover. Santa Clara with a chance to go back-to-back to start the second half. They lead by 14.
Well, San Francisco is completely out of sync. And let's give the Broncos some props right here. I mean, they're playing aggressive defense. They're hustling. They've made opportunity shots. And they're negating anything San Francisco wants to do. I mean, they're not giving them any open court shots. Got to hand it to Santa Clara. They're playing really good basketball. And this young man right here, they have to get it going in a hurry.
For three, still won't go. Holmes couldn't get it to fall. It's going to be out of bounds. Over the top, a foul they're going to get on Garrett. It's going to be the third on Garrett.
Number 35, Robert Garrett. Third personal, first team foul in the second half.
And immediately they'll get a tag out of the ball game, and Garrett will leave.
You know, Barry, Avery Holmes, who's missed some opportunity shots, the lefty, is a good three-point shooter. Now, he hasn't demonstrated that tonight. Well, no one has.
No, that's right.
For San Francisco, but if they get open shots, they have to continue to still look.
Skip pass for Dickerson. Dickerson guarded by a Tanga, drives to the basket. Too hard. Dickerson just can't find it tonight. Foster comes down with it.
Great job by Tanga, not the foul.
Dickerson 0 for 7 from the field. Very uncharacteristic.
You can spread it out now if you're Santa Clara and really get selective, make a few touches on the ball. And it would be a good idea to feature Trasolini inside if you can find him. Well, there's a magnificent pass by Rockmore. And Tanga has been, you know, he's been impressive.
He's active, huh?
Oh, you bet.
16-point lead, and the Dons have been bageled here in the second half. Dickerson baseline cut off by Trasolini, up top Holmes. From the corner, Dickerson. That was a tough shot. Foster the rebound. One only again.
What a pass. Oh, I like it.
Great pass.
What a magnificent look by Kevin Foster. I love that one.
That was a great pass.
I mean, that was like a 40-foot bounce pass. Boy, how do you like it, Santa Clara? That was nice.
And Rex Walter has just got to stop the bleeding. Trasolini with the finish, 18-point game.
Second half, 17-42, Santa Clara putting on a clinic, 42-24 Broncos. Watch what they do here. They're going to bring Cowles around as a decoy. They're not going to look for Cowles, but unless he's wide open. He wasn't this time. Here comes Cowles all the way around. Okay, they don't find him. They get it back. Okay, stop it here. They get it to Rockmore. Christensen comes up to help Rockmore. No one rotates over to a Tanga who's going to just drill it in. You got to get a little bit of help here. And all of a sudden, Christensen comes up. He's got to be aware there, or the guy guarding Rockamore's got to keep him in front. You can't let Rockmore penetrate in the middle, because all of a sudden, then you've got a 2-on-1. But hey, let's give high marks to Santa Clara. They're executing. They're getting it inside. They're making threes. They're playing defense. And quite frankly, they're dominating the game.
Absolutely, absolutely. Perfect in the second half. They're 3 of 3. Don's 0 for 3 in the second half, so they have extended an 11-point lead to an 18-point lead on a 7-0 run to start the second half. Holmes, once again, still won't go. The Dons still do not have a 3-point shot. Christensen is only 4 of 4 from the field, and the rest of the Dons, 4 of 27, Dan.
And Barry, another option for San Francisco is instead of just living with the 3 on the first sequence, maybe give it to Christensen inside and attack into out. You know, try to get Santa Clara moving a little bit on the defensive end.
Dirksen, he can't finish. They are just in the throes of a horrible roll here. And Rockemore could have really driven a spike into the coffin there, but missed the shot. Here they are again. Dirksen at the other end, and they're going to tango on a foul. USF now 25% on 8 for 32 from the field. Second foul called on a Tanga. And beyond the arc, they're 0 for 9. And they've had some good looks.
Yeah, they've had a couple of good looks. And one thing they have not done is power move it all the way to the rim to finish shots. And even if you see Dirksen, he favors that. He's a left-handed player, but he favors that left. I thought if he could have moved it to the right on the layup and used his left hand to keep the defender away, might have a little bit better chance on it. But regardless, when you have 3-on-1s, you know those are the times you have to score. Now if you're San Francisco, you have to extend the game and extend your defense. Come all the way out, look to trap in the backcourt, and it's a great opportunity for Santa Clara because they're guard heavy and they've got guys who can handle. That if they can get by the first trap, they might have a 3-on-1.
Here's Trasolini all the way to the basket, couldn't get it to go. And it's going to be out of bounds off of the Dons. It'll be Santa Clara ball.
Trasolini can't believe he missed it. He can't believe he missed that shot. But there again, now you're by the first quick double. And Trasolini, kind of faded on the shot, but that's one he normally makes.
There's Foster, look out. He gets a look like that, gets his feet set. He is awfully tough. He has 15 in the ball game, and he's taking good shots. Dirksen for 3, wide open look off the front rim. Foster has it taken away by Dirksen, or rather by Dickerson.
Boy, they love to set those screens on the perimeter, do the Dons. They're going to get a foul away from the ball. When you look, really, they have a small team on the floor. I mean, you got Christensen, who's about 6'8". After that, you're playing with, 3 guards and Dickerson, who's what, 6'5". So you don't have a big team on the floor. You're really going to have to rely on perimeter play and defense, and that's why I'm sure Rex Walters has those guys out there because, look, he's saying, look, we got to turn them over. And here's Tollefson. Now, Tollefson, to me, is a player that can do a little bit of damage on the perimeter. Still learning, redshirt freshman.
Parker rejected by a Tanga, and here come the Broncos. Foster for 3.
Now, Foster's,
I'm telling you, he's a sweet shooter.
Yeah, Foster's putting on a clinic tonight. And he made about as brilliant of a 40-foot bounce pass as I've seen in a long time for a layup. So, and as you said, he's not forcing it.
No, 5 or 6.
No, he's not forcing it. And now the Broncos are taking charge. Boy, they've come out the second half, and now they're really lighting it up.
I'll say they are. I mean, they're winning every aspect of this basketball game. Broncos by 22. Well, the 2013 West Coast Conference men's and women's basketball championships will come back to the Orleans Arena in Las Vegas. They take place on March 6th through the 11th. 9 men's, 9 women's teams competing for their ticket to the NCAA tournament. Visit WCCSports.com for complete event and ticket information. Well, we talked earlier about the fact there are no traveling partners in the West Coast Conference this year, and that's tough on a lot of coaches and a lot of teams. Next year, that all changes with the addition of Pacific actually making a return to the West Coast Conference.
Yeah, they really are. And don't forget, as you said, they're making a return. Pacific is one of the original charter members of the West Coast Conference, and yeah, they've done so well. Remember Mike Olowokandi, and Barry, you and I tell the story all the time that Mike Olowokandi came to Pacific and really didn't have a scholarship, and he picked up the phone and he wanted to go to a small school, and the coach answered and said, yeah, my name's Mike Olowokandi and I'm 7 feet and I'm looking for a school. They said, fine, okay, where do you get in? What plane are you on? And it turns out to be the #1 player in the draft.
That's right. Bob Thompson tells that story all the time. Foster now with another driving shot to the basket. Foster has scored the last 8 for Santa Clara. And the Dons just have not had an answer for him. Holmes a floater. Still won't go.
Perfect position defense by the Broncos. Well, Foster's, you know they're going to set screens for him. Now Tollefson got on him.
And he's going to go to the line for 3. And Foster is doing it all.
You know, I always like to give you a quiz. Tell me who the original charter members of the West. Then it was called the West Coast Athletic Conference.
That's true.
But charter members, who were the first team? They started, the conference started in 1953. Remember I said USF played Santa Clara in the Cow Bowl. So obviously, USF.
Those are 2 of them.
Yeah, 2 of them. I just gave you a hint on the third one.
And Pacific is
right.
another one.
Pacific was the other one.
Okay, so I still say Loyola and Pepperdine were 2 of them. They were not just as I thought.
There's a little school across the bay that's done reasonably well. St. Mary's. So that's the 4th. Now the 5th one is tough.
Seattle.
No. Oh, no. The 5th one is really hard.
I had that one.
The fifth one's in the Bay Area.
Really? The original West Coast
That's
Conference?
right. The 5th one's in the Bay Area.
Born and raised here, and I can't answer that question. Dominican.
No, Dominican is not correct. It's not correct. It's right next door to Santa Clara. San Jose State.
Oh, that's right. You're right.
Remember they had Dr. Harry Edwards.
I do remember.
S.T. Saffold.
They had that
Kobe Dietrich.
Carol Williams.
Pete Newell Jr. Carol Williams went. That's right. Carol Williams went to San Jose State. You bet.
Tollefson puts it on the floor. Back for Holmes. Doolin spot up Trey. Still can't get it. As a matter of fact, Dan, the Dons do not have a field goal in the second half. They're 0 for 9. Inside of 6 minutes gone by in the second half.
Well, you know Foster's going to dominate the ball in this situation. Doesn't really have to, but he can get really selective with the ball. And, you know, they're going to just set some screens, run a little bit of clock.
There's a miss by Clark.
I don't think Santa Clara has to get too conservative. They run their offense. They're getting great shots.
Right, keep playing.
Yeah, just keep playing.
See Doolin, now Tollefson. Tollefson, tough shot, well defended, gets it back and puts it in.
See, that's one thing Tollefson can do. He got some hops. Now, how often have you seen San Francisco get a second effort? Not too often.
Not much.
No, not much. But Tollefson is a leaper, and he's got good hands, and he's 6'9".
That was the first basket off a second effort for USF in this game. It's been a dominant performance for Santa Clara. Foster, look out. That was almost too easy. Too good a look.
Yeah, that was probably the easiest threes tonight. Couldn't make it.
Parker takes it all the way, draws a foul on MacArthur.
Well, we talked a lot about Mark Tollefson, redshirted last year, and he is active inside. He's a lefty, can shoot outside, but he's a very good jumper, and he's got good hands, keeps the ball high. And I think eventually, maybe at the end of this year, but for sure next year, I mean, he's going to get a whole lot of playing time. Yeah, you remember Calario, who played here.
Yeah, reminds me a lot of it.
You know, and he was. It took Calario a couple of years to really get, the whole feel of the game. But once he did, he was fantastic. And I look at Tollefson the same way. He's a perimeter player. He's a little bit bigger than Calario, but he's also a guy that can play inside and out.
Once the end, Parker gets one to go. It's only his 5th point of the night.
Here's the trap.
Get out of that trap very nicely.
Well, they've got great guards.
They do.
See, one thing about Santa Clara, you got a real veteran in Rockemore who can run the show. They got all kinds of guys in the backcourt that can make plays. In fact, they're so far ahead that they can take Foster out. That's right. He doesn't come out very often.
Rockemore just blows by everybody. Gets into Lately for foul spot. A 3, yes. Well, that's the way to use the clock.
Yeah, what a play by Rockemore. What an advantage it is to have like a guy like Evan Rockemore who can read the defense and just find open players. I mean, you don't have to worry when he's got the ball. He's not going to turn it over.
Holmes' contested 3 comes up short. And a rebound to Trazzolini. Knocked away by Doolin, back in the hands of Zhu. So the Dons get another chance. Doolin just fell down, and a timeout called by Rex Walter. Very good one. So 11 minutes and 29 seconds remaining here in the ball game, and it's been all Santa Clara. They lead it by 25. And you know, there's nothing fluke about it. I mean, they played really well in every aspect.
No, really, there's absolutely nothing fluke about it, but Santa Clara really put the hammer down when they came out the second half. I thought San Francisco might have a little run in them, but Foster really was brilliant. He made shots all over the floor and really felt in rhythm. There's no doubt about it. There's a little left-handed floater, and of course made the great bounce pass for a layup to Trazzolini. About that 40-foot bounce pass. So he's done everything. And the Broncos have played terrific defense. So this is the
all-time win leaders amongst West Coast Conference coaches.
Well, you talked about Carroll Williams. He's right up there.
Yeah, there he is. But look at Mark Few. I mean, he's done that in the space of, what, 13 years.
Yeah,
that's pretty good.
Well, Mark wins 30 games a year.
He does. He does.
And don't think that Gonzaga can't go a long way this year.
I love Gonzaga, and a lot of people think. As a matter of fact, Bill Greer told me last night, the San Diego coach, said, I told Mark Few I think his team could be a Final Four team, and Mark Few said, no, don't tell me that. You know, Mark, he doesn't like people to think too much of what he's got going up there, but I think what he's got going up there is pretty darn good. As we watch Cowles knock down another 3, he's got 17.
Or arguably, this could be the best Gonzaga team, and they've had some great ones. But with Olynyk playing the way he is, and Elias Harris, and the great guards they have, I mean, they're tough.
Long bench, they can play big, they can play small. Santa Clara's playing big. They lead it by 28.
are many other great prizes as well. Again, that's USA.
West Coast Conference fans can get up-to-the-minute news, videos, and championship information. All you have to do is log on to the official West Coast Conference website at WCCSports.com. Browse through photos from West Coast Conference Championship. Find exclusive conference gear and follow where your school stands in the latest Commissioner's Cup standings. All that you have to do is bookmark WCCSports.com. Well, tonight has been a tough night for USF, but you were part of a lot of the history of USF here, and there's a lot to talk about in years gone by.
Yeah, that's got to change right there. Last tournament appearance, 1998. Now, of course, Rex Walters, wants that to change. There's been a lot of great players here, and certainly they're trying to get it back together again, and it's taken a long time. And Rex Walters won 20 games last year, and there's certainly a feeling of optimism on the hilltop, and I think Rex will get it done. He's got a young team and certainly needs to add to this team. There's no doubt about that. So they've had a great tradition here. Look at those jerseys with, of course, Bill and a lot of local guys. Russell and Jones, Farmer from Richmond, the great Phil Smith from Washington
High School.
Of course, Bill Cartwright. What can you say about Bill Cartwright from Sacramento?
Why don't they have your jersey up there? I don't understand.
My jersey.
I watched you play.
Right.
I know you could shoot it.
I could shoot.
You could still shoot.
As long as nobody's guarding.
Maybe that was the problem.
As long as I'm wide open, I can shoot. I had a jumper. I had a very strong jumper.
Those were the days.
Yes, those were the days. Unfortunately, when I played, we had so many good players. We had guys like Jim Ravelli and Joe Ellis and Ollie Johnson. And
those were good players.
Dave Lee. We had a lot of good players. We won the conference championship 3 years in a row. So, Russ Gamina. So, when you had those kind of guys, you were not a
Didn't
kind
matter
of,
if you
you
could
were Dick Brainerd, who played a lot. You didn't get a chance to get out there very often. Huey Thomas played with Huey Thomas, who was a terrific guard here at USF. Played with the great Lloyd Moffitt. There's Jim Ravelli.
Yeah.
And Jim was played with Jim in high school. Jim at St. Ignatius High School, and in the Hall of Fame here at USF. And
that's right. And you see the guy next to him? That was Bo Chapman. The youngest of the Chapman stats team. Doesn't get on television very much, but you had a quick glimpse there. That was for his mom.
Yeah, where would we be without the stat people? They do a great job behind the scenes, but they do a heck of a job for us.
It's all the Chapmans. They're a stats empire.
They are a stats empire, no question about it. Of course, getting back to Jim Bell, of course, he coached in the NBA and was a fantastic player in his own right.
House from the corner, not this time, but there with an offensive rebound and a putback is Harrison.
Quickness to the ball. And that's what you're seeing with Santa Clara against San Francisco. They're just beating the Dons on the ball all the time. Oh my gosh, finally, first three of the game.
1 of 14, and finally, Holmes gets it to go.
So here's your trap again, and what you'd like to do here if you're Santa Clara, just make that extra pass. You'd love to get the ball in the middle of the floor, but Rockamore, he is so solid. He's almost like having a coach on the floor. I mean, this guy just gets it, does understand time, possession, situation.
Unselfish player. Can shooter. He's a pretty good shooter.
Great anticipator.
Good switch by Santa Clara defensively. Dickerson finally gets one to go. So back-to-back trays for USF after a game-long dry spell. And for Dickerson, a bit of a wake-up call, too. His first field goal of the game.
And look for the Broncos, Gary, to really not run their offense. Just try to spread the court and see if they get it the other way, and they do.
Trasolini leaning in.
Was that Christensen again who stepped in there? Looked
Might have been.
Matt Christensen. Well, it was good execution. You get by the first pass, and all Trasolini's. Well, that was a good. I think that was a pretty good call. I think he's there. Let's take another look.
Yeah,
he's there. He's there.
Well, let's face it, if you can make 5, 6 threes in a row, yeah, you're San Francisco, you're about due.
You're back within 10.
You missed your first 14.
You're going to get Foster that time over the top. Second foul on Kevin Foster.
Second foul and 9th team foul on Santa Clara. So it's opportunities at the foul line for the Dons. The Dons have only committed 2 team fouls and a half. Yet they're the aggressor defensively, but Santa Clara, they got by that first trap and they're getting great shots.
And Doolin converts the first free throw. After this, they'll be in a double bonus. Makes it a 23-point ball game. I don't think Kerry Keating's breaking out into a sweat over there.
St. Mary's came back from 20 down.
Yeah, they did.
Against BYU to win the game. Of course, that was early in the game. It wasn't with 9 minutes to go in the ball game.
They came back from 20 down against Gonzaga, too, and almost won the ball game.
Well, they played a great second half against Gonzaga in Spokane. Well, here you go. Here's your full court trap, and you'd like to get it in the middle. And Santa Clara's not even electing to attack. They're just going to back it out, run a little bit of clock.
Again, recognizing the double team. Cowles can't get that to go, and the rebound to Dickerson, and here come the Dons. So the Dons on a little bit of a roll for the first time tonight. Dickerson puts it on the floor, just lost it. Here comes Foster, 2-on-1. Foster the lob, and the finish by Harrison.
Tremendous play by Foster. And you're thinking bounce pass, bounce pass, bounce pass. Foster's not thinking that way. He's thinking lob and drop, which you got. It's exactly the right play.
Well, I'll tell you, if there are any scouts, and I trust there are in the stands tonight, they got to be taking a long, hard look at Kevin Foster in this game.
Yeah, and you see Kevin Foster leading the break and doing a really good job. And here's the lob and the drop by Harrison. And when you've got an athletic guy playing with you, that is, Foster recognizes who's ahead of him. He knows this guy could leap and get up in the air, so just give him the ball near the rim, and the defense has no chance. If he made the bounce pass, someone can step in away for the charge. It's exactly how you draw it up. Yeah, I'd say if there was a scout in the stands, they'd be impressed with Foster.
You got to be taking notes.
You bet.
Great shooter. Playing well on the defensive end tonight, being unselfish, taking high percentage shots. Of course, now you look at the NBA, Foster at 6'2". NBA shooting guards now.
Well, if you're a shooting guard, maybe you can move over and play the point.
Good, yeah.
Why not? Seth Curry moved over, he played the point. No big deal. You know my theory, there's always room for shooters.
Absolutely.
And if you can get it off, there may be a place for you.
Dirksen with a good look. Comes up short. Foster the rebound. Foster's got 9 rebounds in the game as well. Trazzolini tried to leave it for the cutting Harrison. Stepping in front that time was Dirksen, but stepping in front of Dirksen was Rockmore, and there's Foster with another 3.
Yeah, it's that Rockmore guy again.
Yeah.
He's kind of at the heart of everything that goes on. He's having a brilliant game, and he's enjoying it. You can tell Santa Clara's having a lot of fun.
Tollefson.
See, I think Tollefson to me can shoot outside. He's a good leaper. I think he just has to start understanding the game a little bit more and helping at the defensive end. I think he's got too many skills not to be on the floor.
And your comparison to Clario is very good, very accurate.
Occasionally I get one right.
You always get
occasionally.
Oh, you're my hero.
Well, I had to come up. You didn't come up with San Jose State, though.
No,
one of the charter members.
I really failed you tonight. There's Foster, the floater. Why not? Nice touch. You talked about Foster getting 30 tonight, right?
Well, I said he was on his way to 30, and
he's got 27.
Well,
right now.
And to me, it's been a kind of a quiet 27. And he's not shot the ball excessively for 27.
No, he's only taken 14 shots, actually.
He's had one of those James Harden games.
Yeah, remember
that guy, James Harden?
Sure do.
Harden played for Arizona State, and at the end of the game, he had 33. Well, how many shots did he take? Yeah, he had like 12 shots, but he made about 15 free throws.
Good block by Tollefson. Harrison stays with it, misses another shot at it. Dirksen finally gets it out of there.
Well, that was a great block by Tollefson.
Again, a good job by Cowles and a foul on Christensen. So we'll jump away. 69-43 ball game. Santa Clara not getting off the gas. 5:44 remaining to be played in this one. All Broncos. We'll be back.
Okay, fans, now it's time for the latest edition of Dress Like a Don. Tonight's contestants are Heidi and Tatiana. They will have to race to half court. Get suited up, let's grab the basket, and race down court to the layup. First one to do so with the WCC t-shirt. Heidi, are you ready? Tatiana, are you ready? No, she's not. All right, we'll wait. Ready and go. Heidi with a short lead. She's going with the jersey first. That's the Tatiana. Tatiana now into the shoes. Right shoes. All right, almost a dead heat as they leave half court. Looks like Heidi's going to get the first shot, and she puts it in. And Tatiana followed it in. And you know what? We're going to give prizes to both of you.
Well, Santa Clara's been dancing to the music all night long. They lead it by 26. Nothing fluke about it. They've just gone out and done a very consistent, a very good job on both ends of the floor.
Well, they really have, and here's all you have to know. Again, you talk about great stat people that give you information. That USF has 12 made field goals in the game. Santa Clara's got 12 threes in the game, plus more.
Yeah.
Regular twos. So the Broncos, really a great start, and there's Rockamore again. Just, you know, kind of the human press breaker is what I call him. Tough to handle him in the open floor.
Rockamore for three.
Yeah, he's just been sensational.
He has been.
Yeah, he really has.
This is the kind of game that I think Santa Clara and Kerry Keating really needed.
Yeah, they can build on this game, there's no doubt.
I think so too. I mean, it's a good basketball team. Remember, they got 12 wins, so they don't get that by accident. And then they played great at Duke. They just kind of hit a flat spot. That sometimes happens to teams, but a game like this can sure get you out of that.
Got to remember too, Barry, they lost in overtime to Utah State. Yeah, they've been in every game. Even the games they've lost Santa Barbara. I'd say BYU got them, you know, and the Cougars can do that to you once they get on a roll.
But even that game, that game was 50-50. 50. That's right. And then they just went absolutely flat and allowed the Cougars 18 points in a row, and the game was over for all intent. Foster misses the three from the corner. Tollefson the rebound. This is incidentally Foster's first career double-double. It's a pretty good line. He's got 27 points and 10 rebounds. Christensen, he's still perfect on the night.
Yeah, he really is. And, you know, you got to give the guy all the props in the world. I mean, he's come off the bench. He's playing a lot of minutes now. He has not played many minutes the whole year. And he's put up numbers, and he's playing his heart out.
Rockmore back up top. They'll try to milk the clock here. 4 minutes remaining in the ball game. Now Foster, a little crossover, lost the handle, gets it to Rockmore. 10 on the shot clock. Rockmore going to be very patient. 7 on the shot clock. Rockmore just took a look at it. Now he goes right through a double team and a floater.
Wow, was that unbelievable? Boy, Evan Rockmore, he went at light speed and went through the trap. Boy, how do you like Evan Rockmore?
10 points and 7 in the second half, but it's more than just a scoring.
Yeah, you know, I know Foster's been magnificent in this game, but tell you, Evan Rockmore, his total all-around game has just been out of this world.
Really good. I mean, Santa Clara in general playing just great. They lead it now by 29. Welcome back. 29-point lead for Santa Clara, triggered by the point guard, Evan Rockmore. He has been absolutely sensational tonight in every aspect of the game. Unselfish. He has scored when he's needed to score, given it up when he's needed to give it up. He's doing everything right.
Well there he started with a three, Barry. Look at this pass inside to MacArthur. And then Rockmore breaks the defense, gets a little runner in the lane. He's done it all. You know, he doesn't turn the ball over. You know, he's had a really nice line. The points and the assists really don't tell the whole story, because he's the guy that controls the game and makes everybody else better. Kerry Keating's going to give him a well-deserved rest. You see everybody coming over and congratulating, and they know that, you know, he's pivotal in their success and the way he played tonight.
Absolutely. And he got help from his friends. Foster, a brilliant night, 27 and 10. As you said, Cowles had a nice game tonight. Trasolini's just steady. Kerry Keating has gone to his bench. He has MacArthur out there now. Clark is out on the floor. Trying to keep up with some of the guys. Denzel Johnson on the floor for the first time. He has both Clarks on the floor right now. Julian Clark and Brandon Clark. MacArthur out there for Santa Clara. And Garrett. Santa Clara going to take a timeout here. Let's take a look at what's down the road now for Santa Clara. And it's got to be a great confidence-building win, as we said earlier, for Kerry Keating and the Broncos. Here's what's ahead. They're at Pepperdine. Pepperdine's improved clearly, but you got to think that's a game that Santa Clara could win. They play Cal State Bakersfield, non-conference game. Then they go to San Diego. San Diego, good basketball team and tough at home, and they have a good backcourt also.
And then
Portland.
Yeah, then they move on, play Portland, and then at BYU. So, you know, it's certainly not easy, but this game is one that Kerry Keating can really build on. I mean, Kerry just felt, hey, we need to win. We need to kind of put it all together. We need Rockmore and Foster and Cowles and Trasolini to play well. Well, they did.
Yeah, yeah, they did.
And when they do, he says, we're tough to beat. And it showed tonight.
Clark waiting for help. He gets it from MacArthur. MacArthur gets it ahead to the other Clark. And that's Julian Clark, rather, for the score. It's a 30-point Santa Clara lead. Tollefson to the basket. Somehow got that in with the left hand and a foul.
You know, that was a very athletic play by Mark Tollefson. I want to tell you, this was not an easy shot. Watch the big guy. Now, you got to remember, this guy's 6'9", and a long leaper that time into the lane.
You just got to turn the ball,
You bet.
too.
Yeah, and he's got a chance to really help this San Francisco team as the season goes on.
Just a redshirt freshman. USF, one of the young teams in the West Coast Conference. That's the good news. I suppose the bad news for them is a lot of young teams.
Well, there's a lot of young teams, and Rex Walters has to, you know, try to maybe add one or two more. But he's going with a lot of young guys. There's no question about that.
MacArthur, a little face up, and he scores.
And you know, Barry, Rex has, you know, Matt Glover, who's a 6'3" transfer from Penn State, who as a freshman played quite a bit for Penn State, and he'll play. He's ready to go next year. So, you know, you'd be surprised when you add one or two that the Dons just may be a year away. I mean, look at all the young guys on the floor with Christensen. And, you know, Tollefson's going to get his shot. Now, Cody Doolin, though, a junior, you know, he'll be back for one more year, and they need him. But the Dons will have, you know, everybody back.
Well, as we talked about San Diego, they've won 5 games in a row. They have 2 sophomore guards, 2 freshman big men. Taking to the basket that time for the finish is Rogers. And you know, you hate to say it, but Gonzaga's young.
I know, they're always young.
Yeah, they are. Yeah. I think they lose.
Well, except Elias Harris has been there quite a while.
I think about 12 years. They do lose him.
He's been around.
MacArthur goes down hard. I might have taken a shot to the head.
We're going to take a look. I'm not sure.
Well, let's take a look at what happened to MacArthur. Here's 25 going in, and Rogers, oh my, he gives him a pretty good shot.
Yeah, he did.
They're probably going to look at that.
I don't think it was intentional.
Yeah, they may have to go over and look at that, and if they deem it a flagrant one, it's going to be 2 in the ball.
That's right.
Because there's no such thing anymore as an intentional foul. Remember, we used to have intentional fouls when everything says it's either flagrant 1, flagrant 2. Flagrant 2 is just overly excessive. So here we go. There's Rogers. Boom. They could have a case here for flagrant 1.
Could,
I mean, he gave a good shot. He definitely hit him.
I'll say he hit him.
Yeah, he did. It was kind of a shoulder block. Are they going to call it common foul?
I believe that's what Greg Nixon just kind of ran by us, and I don't know how you are at lip reading, but I think that's what he said.
Of course, what the officials look for all the time is elbows in the head, anything in the upper. So if they feel it was underneath and he just couldn't stop his momentum and came into him, maybe they just feel that's going to be a common foul.
So this is Denzel Johnson. He will back it out. He's a relative of Gary Payton.
Gary Payton's his uncle.
Yeah. And taking it to the basket is Brandon Clark. That's his second field goal.
Well, we've seen Denzel Johnson, I remember last year, coming up with big numbers.
Yeah.
I mean, he was, you know, got a lot of playing time, but he had 26 against USF a year ago.
Turn around Rogers. And 1. So 1:28 remaining. And Rogers will go to the free throw line.
Yeah, nice jump hook by Rogers, and you know the Dons playing it out, which you have to do. You know, it didn't go your way at home, but guys in the game have to give it 100% because you know they may get a shot in the next game. That's what happened to Christensen when he played.
That's right.
He played so well against St. Mary's that he got a lot of playing time tonight. To my recollection, didn't miss I don't know if he missed any shots. He might have been perfect.
I don't think he has. 5 of 5. He's got 12 points in the game. This is Julian Clark. And from the corner, Brandon Clark sticks another.
Well, the Broncos, I mean, they're just shooting the ball all over. Everybody's shooting it. One thing you'll say about Santa Clara, they've got speed. They definitely have team quickness, and they're not going to lose too many speed battles, nor quickness battles. Their first step agility is very good, even with their bigs. When they come with a Tanga who's very athletic, Nee Harrison, a guy that can play over the rim.
Yeah. Brandon Clark, incidentally, 7 points in a very brief appearance here, ties his career high. He's looking to spot it up again for 3, not this time. And the rebound to Holmes. Scramble for the loose ball, and it's going to be out of bounds to Santa Clara. So it's been Murphy's Law for USF. What can go wrong has gone wrong for them.
Of course, we'll see San Francisco here Saturday afternoon to see if they regroup against LMU.
Two schizophrenic teams.
Two teams that, these were two teams that needed a win. In this one, Santa Clara, USF. Well, you could say the same for LMU and San Francisco on Saturday.
Absolutely. Paracone drops this one down for Garrett. Garrett finishes. 13 ticks remaining, and it's been a brilliant performance for the Santa Clara Broncos. I mean, all the way down to the 12th man.
Everybody who has played for the Broncos has really done a heck of a job in this game. And the Dons never got off shooting the ball well, but it's the defense of Santa Clara. I mean, they did not give San Francisco too many open shots, and when San Francisco had an open shot, they could not make it. There you see the standings with Gonzaga and San Diego, BYU, St. Mary's right at the top. Now the Santa Clara goes to 2-3.
And 13-6 overall. So they're up there with the big boys in terms of overall wins and losses. And USF down the bottom looking for that first conference win. It has been quite a dry spell for the Dons.
Well, don't forget a couple of years ago, Kerry Keeney's team was 24-14. And last year, with all the injuries and then losing Kevin Foster as they did for quite a bit of time, well, then all of a sudden you flip to 8-22. But amazing what happens when Trasolini's healthy, Foster's in the game. Now, a couple of guys make a huge difference.
I'll say.
Solid game by Mark Trasolini. Always gives you a great effort. In and out, good rebounder, and a defender. So this has been a heck of an all-in. Rex Walter's going to take a timeout. Oh, yeah, I thought he was going to take a timeout. He didn't. He took a timeout with 2 seconds.
That's right.
Against St. Mary's.
85-54, the final score here, and an absolutely complete victory for Kerry Keating and the Santa Clara Broncos. We'll see if that doesn't kickstart the rest of their season. They were going great. They played great in the first half against Duke. Then they wound up winning 1 out of the next 4 where they had a big bounce back tonight. That's a wrap for us from here at Memorial Gym. For my partner, Dan Belwamini, I'm Barry Tompkins. Final score, 85-54 Broncos. So long, everybody.